And so now we're back in Matthew 2, and we're looking now at verses, I believe, 9 through 11. And I want to read those very briefly to you. We talked about them a little bit last week, but I want you to understand that after they came out of King Herod's court, these mighty magi, after they had come into Bethlehem of Judea, after they left Herod's court, this is what happened. It says in verse 11, Matthew 2, verse 11, and when they had come into the house, they saw the young child, we're talking about Jesus, with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshiped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And I hope that you'll take a look at our display here. We wanted to give you something visual so that you would understand what gold, frankincense, and myrrh look like. But I want to specifically talk about these mighty magi and the gifts they gave. We understood last week in understanding the givers, they were men of great faith. They were men of worship. They were men of wisdom. They were men of knowledge. They were men of understanding. And I want to back up a little bit because I want to go back up to verse 9. And it's interesting because when they heard King Herod, it says they departed, and behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. I love this line, verse 10. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. Now, I want you to understand something about these mighty magi. It says when they saw the star, not when they saw Jesus, not when they saw Mary, not when they saw the child, but they saw a sign, a star. And when they saw the star, it says they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. Here's the thing. When they saw the star, it was something they could not touch. A star was something they could not hold. A star was something they could not lay hands on. A star was something that they could not handle. But because they saw a manifestation of the word that they had looked at and they had studied, they began to rejoice with exceedingly great joy. I want to just take a pause here and ask you, when was a time that you just saw a manifestation of the word and you begin to give exceeding great joy? The word says that by his stripes we are healed. You didn't have to see the child. You didn't have to see Jesus. But when you saw healing, did you give him great joy? Did you do exceedingly abundantly in all of your worship? I just want to know, when you saw perhaps that there might be an opportunity for you to have significant employment, did you give him great joy? Did you have exceedingly great joy? Not necessary for me to just touch Jesus, but because I see a manifestation of what I know the word says, then I have the ability to give him great joy. These men of great faith, men of worship, of wisdom, of knowledge and understanding, we have come to understand they were worshipers. They came to worship, and they operated in worship even before they got to see Jesus. Oh, let me stop there. They operated in worship before they got to the house. They operated in worship before they got to the ministry. They operated in worship before they got to the church. It says when they saw the star. So this means in the middle, oh my goodness, Holy Spirit, I thank you. They in the middle of a desert place, in the middle of a dry place, in the middle of a place where there was nothing but sand, and it seemed like it would, when they lifted it up, it would run through their fingers. In a place where perhaps they did not see all that they wanted to see, they were willing to have great joy. They were willing to have great joy because they looked up and saw the star. How many times have we looked up and seen the stars and had exceeding great joy? How many times have we woke up and looked up and saw the sun? The sun is a star, and be filled with great joy. Even in our dry desert places, even in places where it appears there is no water. And you know, I said last week that they had an entourage around them. They didn't come by themselves. So it means that they were willing to rejoice with exceedingly great joy no matter who was looking at them. Imagine this entourage with them in the middle of the desert. And because these men looked up and saw a star, they started praising and worshiping in the middle of a desert no matter who was looking at them. I can imagine that the cavalry or the escort was going, what is it about them that they see that makes them want to give the praise and the worship that they are giving? I want you to understand something. The word saw means when they saw with their eyes, they perceived perceived it, they discerned it, they discovered it. In other words, I see the object, but I also understand the meaning that it has. You know, there are times when I haven't opened my Bible, but just when I walk past it and look at it, it represents a star to me, because when I see it, I discern and have discovered what the mysteries of the word mean to me. And I can give God joy and give God praise just because I see the word. So it says that they discerned and discovered.